York rocks! What's up, everybody? It's Phil from New York Rocks TV. Stay tuned, you're watching New York Rocks, baby. Who rocks better than us?
Nobody rocks like New York rocks. We rock the best. All right. Well, I want to welcome everybody to the show. It's a brand new year, 2011, and we have a great show here tonight. On tonight's show, we have an American original that's worldwide. We are celebrating the twist and 50 years of dancing apart to the beat. And we have no other than New York Rocks welcome to Mr. Chubby Checker on the show here tonight. Let's give a hand for Chubby Checker. All right. But besides having Chubby Checker on the show, we have two other great guests here tonight. We also have the artist, Shannon, the world-renowned Beatles artist, right here on the show. Let's give a hand for him. Let's go. Okay, and also on tonight's show, we have Dennis Ferrante, audio engineer. We also won a Grammy award-winning audio engineer. Dennis Ferrante.
2000.
2000. Okay, we're on the show tonight. And we're going to get started. But before we get started, I'd like to announce the sponsors. I'd like to thank Big Al's for the pizza. Let's give a hand for Big Al's. Took care of us, hooked us up with the pizza, right? Also, I want to give a little shout out to the Aquarian Weekly, a little music entertainment. You got to keep the music alive with the Aquarian Weekly Entertainment Music Newspaper. Okay. All right, well, since we got Chubby here, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
And blessing us.
I'm just thrilled to be here. New York Rocks. I know about it. In fact, Gary Lefkowitz told me about your show. He said, you gotta go. I said, well, let's just go. And I'm here, and it's great. I walked in the building and got a nice feeling with the people here. I feel like I'm family here in Staten Island.
Everybody treated you so great. Well, we love you, man. Everybody loves Chubby Checker.
Thank you.
And they also love your checker bar that you brought here. And you bring people chocolate. They'll even love you even more.
I always bring something, something for them to eat.
We don't want you.
And I want you to see my little bar.
There you go.
I said it. I want you to see my bar. Come on now, get out of there.
You don't want out.
Here it is. Because there's only one like it on the whole planet. And
that's like a patent. You got the patent to this.
There's only one. There it is. There it is.
Oh,
there it
man,
is.
that's a piece of work. Look at that.
And the thing is, when you put it in your mouth and the dark and the white comes together, it's called a Checkerlicious experience.
That's it, man.
So enjoy that. And then I brought you some beef jerky. When I leave, I want everyone to just take it over, and I guess sooner or later you're going to see it in the stores. Chubby Checker's beef jerky, you see that. Go on the web, thelastTwist.com, and check out all our food and everything. I appreciate you doing this. Because I want all the people in New York City to see it. It's really sweet, and it also comes in milk and green, which is mint, milk and blue, which is blueberry. And it's very interesting. Got a lot of
you
different.
got the raspberry too.
Raspberry too. A lot of different colors, and
raspberry.
It's a little sweet. It's a little sweeter than most chocolate, but I love sugar.
Because Chubby Checkers makes
I love
it.
it. I love sugar. And
you're the sweetest guy in rock and roll.
And
there you go.
You know something? I'm so glad to be here with you. And I hear you have a girlfriend in Vancouver.
Yeah, she's down in Summerlin.
I heard.
Summerlin.
It costs a lot of money to go see her.
Yeah.
Because you got to fly.
Yeah.
You have trouble getting through customs sometimes?
No, I use your say, I know Chubby Checker, and we got to fly, so they let me.
Now, if you do that, guess what happens? If you mention my name and go through customs, they let you go. They smile. Yeah, they do.
Okay. All right, I got to remember that because I'm going soon. I'm going in a couple of weeks. I'll be over
Don't forget
there.
to go to Stanley Park.
Stanley Park.
Stanley Park. They have beluga whales there, and you can go downstairs and you can watch them.
Oh, so you don't have to actually go to the ocean. You can watch them in.
You got to go there. Wonderful place. A very nice city too, Vancouver. Very nice place. Very nice people. It's just a great place. It is.
Now, tell everybody how you got started. I know you're from South Carolina originally.
Spring Gully, South Carolina. Population 52. Salute. And then my dad and mom came to Philadelphia when I was about 8 years old. And then, I was doo-wopping in the neighborhood, South Philadelphia,
Right.
with Fabian.
Maybe you went to school with,
Yes,
right?
I did. And Frankie Avalon, we know him well, and Bobby Rydell.
Right.
And just, the Intruders, knew them very well,
Right.
too. And we were doo-wopping there, and I worked in the chicken store for Henry Colt.
Cult, right?
And he took me to the record company, but Tony Anastasi
Yeah.
gave me the name Chubby.
Yeah.
And when I was,
You used to sing to everybody.
I sure did. And then what happened was, when I first came to Philadelphia,
Right.
I worked in the garment district.
Right.
And I was hiding in there because the bullies used to beat me up all the time. So I became a Jew. I did. I became,
you're big.
I
You're a
became,
big guy.
I became Jewish.
Yeah,
I became
yeah.
Jewish.
Yeah.
The Jewish people took me in,
Yeah.
and they took care of me. And then, by the time I was 11 years old, I became an Italian.
Yeah.
An Italian supermarket.
Right, yeah.
And then I went to the record studio.
Right.
And I was playing a piano, and this lady says, "You're chubby, chubby like Fats.
Right.
Well, we're going to call you Checker like Domino." And she was Mrs. Dick Clark.
Yeah.
And Chubby became Chubby Checker.
That's it. That's how you got
And
the
that was
name.
my big break, really, because the record company became very interested after that.
Right.
And they started writing some songs for me, and we didn't know that we were going to change the world. We didn't know. It was it's God, blessing from God, really, just very nice.
Now, who brought you over to Dick Clark? There was another man in between that brought you over there.
Well,
you were in
actually-
a record company, right?
Well,
You
Henry
went to?
Colt
Right.
knew a man named Cal Mann, and they were in the turkey business
Right.
together. And Cal decided he was going to be a songwriter.
Right.
He told his wife, "I'm going to be a songwriter. If I don't make it in 2 years, I'm going to go back in the turkey business."
Wow.
And so he started writing some things, and he wrote a couple hit songs, and he wrote Teddy Bear
Right.
for Elvis Presley, and he wrote something called Silhouettes,
Right.
and he wrote something called Butterfly for Charlie Gracie. And then he sort of brought me in because Dick Clark needed someone to do some special stuff for him,
Right.
and they thought that I could do it. So I went in, and that's when it started. I just didn't know that it was going to lead to one thing led to another. I was only
The
17.
voice. You had the voice, though.
I was
you had
17.
the range and the voice.
But these people actually, and I do thank them because they were the ones, they had ideas, and they just took me, and I filled all of the things that they wanted
So
to do.
chicken helped you out.
It really helped
Chicken.
me out. I love
Say your
chicken.
chicken.
By the
Say
way,
you gotta
way,
love chicken.
if you have a bird
Right.
with no feathers on it, I can slice him in 6 seconds.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I'm good.
Yeah.
I was proud
So
of my
birds of a feather don't flock together with you.
Hey,
You
proud,
just stay,
proud
just-
of my job.
They don't go nowhere.
Proud of my
That's it.
job because I
Right.
could take a bird and and I was proud of my job.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, and I still, to all the chicken people out there,
Yeah.
I'm still a chicken man and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And it's fine with me, yeah. And I'm a produce man too.
Chicken's good.
And I'm proud of that, yeah.
Okay, so now you started with the twist, and at first it was written and composed by
Hank
Ballard.
Ballard, that's right.
But then you
Thank-
resourced.
Thank God for
Yeah.
Hank Ballard, because if he wasn't here, if he wasn't born, I wouldn't be sitting here. I really wouldn't. And but what we did with the twist,
Right.
the twist, we're celebrating 50 years of the twist,
Right.
dancing apart to the beat. What that means
Yeah.
is that I'm looking at her,
There you go.
and she's looking at me,
We'll have to dance. Let us.
and I'm looking at her.
It's just-
And everybody has done this, and you have done it too.
Right.
Everybody has done this. Everybody.
Right.
Everybody.
Because they don't know how to dance.
That's
so they
what.
go like
That's
this.
what. That's
They
what.
don't know what they're doing.
But it's the pony. It's
Yeah.
the pony.
Yeah.
And the twist is this.
It's back and forth.
And if you're not doing the twist, you're either doing this, which is the pony,
Yeah.
or you're doing the fly. And if you do the fly, guess what else you're doing?
Yeah.
If you do the fly, you got to be doing the shake. Now watch out for this.
Yeah.
The hucklebuck.
The Hucklebuck. You know, I sing with the Hucklebuck. They did it on the Honeymooners.
Hey.
That's your song.
That's it.
That's it.
So
That's when Ralph Cramden did the Hucklebuck.
we're celebrating 50 years
Yeah.
of dancing apart
Right,
to
right.
the beat. And if you have a song out there, and you're a singer, and you have a song out there,
Right.
and people are having a good time to it, they're probably doing this. And to watch a girl,
And then they
to
go.
watch a woman all dressed up in her stuff, and she's doing this in front of you,
Yeah.
and she's doing all this stuff here.
Yeah.
Before
But how about this?
the hucklebuck?
You throw that in
Hey,
later?
the hucklebuck? The hucklebuck? Oh, that's what it
You
is.
still got it. Thank you, man.
And New York rocks.
No, man. Who's better than you? No money. Not many at all.
But that's what they've been doing for the, for 50 years, people. And it's just nice to know that, I think it's nice to know I have a part to do with that. So whenever I see people dancing on the floor, I just look, and sometimes it's hard to believe that I'm hooked up with that. It had no idea. We had no idea that we were doing that. We just didn't know that it was going to catch on like that. We didn't know. We didn't know. We were just fumbling and feeling things. We never knew that we had created something that would still be going on in everybody's music.
Now, the Grammy that you won, talk about the Grammy that you received. Now, you received that Grammy. It's the first rock and roll song ever to win a Grammy.
It's the first, well, at that time, rock and roll music was not something that people were very proud of. It was very rebellious music.
Right.
And
this was before the Beatles, before the Rolling Stones, before everybody.
Well, they weren't that far behind, because
Right.
all this started in 1950,
Close.
1960.
Right.
The Rolling Stones came along about 63.
Right.
Beatles about 63, 64, because
Right.
they were still happening.
Right.
Because I was in Ireland, and I was in Ireland 1962, and the Beatles they were starting to do their thing.
Right.
But this rock and roll song, Let's Twist Again, was the first song, rock and roll song that received a Grammy.
Right.
And while that was going on, we had 5 albums that were
Number
in
one,
the top
Billboard,
12,
right?
in the top 12 all at the same time.
Right. Or the Billboard charts, it was around then.
No one's ever done that.
Yeah.
Now, the only person that ever came close to that was the Beatles, because they had 5 number one singles.
Wow.
Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. And what was their number 1 song?
Hey Jude?
Twist and Shout.
Oh, for the Beatles.
When they had number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 on the charts.
All right.
The number 1 song for them was Twist and Shout.
Right.
And the only other person that ever had 5 albums in the top 12 was Chubby Checker. So
you're the
we just
pioneer of.
We had 9 double-sided hit songs. It was 2 years ago when Billboard named from 1958 to 2008, The Twist is the number 1 song for 50 years over everything.
It still sounds like it's
Sounds
new.
good.
Every
Sounds
time
good.
you listen to it, it sounds fresh, like it's brand new. It'll never die. It'll always be brand new, just like the Beatles music. You listen to it, and it sounds like it's.
The next time we're going to have a song that's
timeless
going to be
and endless.
50 years old,
Right.
The next number 1 song for 50 years will be in 2058.
Right.
That's the next. Well, I won't be here, of course, but the point is that from 58 to 2008 is the Twist. Now from 2008 to 2058, they're going to choose another song. But the Twist is the only song to be number 1 twice since we've been on the planet. That's quite amazing.
Yeah.
And we have 9 double-sided hit songs. In those days, they had double-sided songs. We had 9 of them. I had 32 or 34 chart songs, and 9 of them were double-sided hit songs.
Right.
It's quite amazing.
Do you still have you retain your awards? Do you still have them? Do you possess them?
They're
or-
around. They're around.
Yeah.
In the walls in the house. I've been living in the
Sure.
same house since 1965.
Wow. And you're what? You're still married to? I tell everybody you're married to a Miss World,
Yeah,
right?
we're still
Miss
married.
World.
But the thing is, I was scared to get married to another woman. The dangers, they'll kill you. You'll be sleeping at night. I'd be scared.
Yeah, you got to stick around, you know.
My friend says he's married 4 times. I
You
said,
don't want a
"You're not
jilted
scared?
woman, you know?
You're not
You
scared?
don't,
You're married 4 times. You're not scared?" He says, "No, I'm not scared." I said, "I'd be scared. She'd get me."
Should
Respect.
get you good, too.
Respect. This is a word to the wise. Respect women.
You don't
Respect
have
them.
no chubby no more.
Respect them.
If that something happens.
And be courteous. Be courteous to women and respect them.
That's right.
Because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here at all.
That's right. Your mother always tells you, I could take you out too.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's right. So
they had that wooden spoon. They stay
respect women, and all you guys out there, don't you be hitting no woman because God's gonna get you. Okay.
That's right, man.
Now you know.
There you go. Man. You heard it from the man
I had
right
to put that out there.
Well, you know what it is. You know, after so many years, you know, you get acquire a lot of wisdom, and you learn about a lot of things in life.
Yeah, I learned.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. And when you're from Brooklyn,
Yeah.
I never forgot. I was on what was it? Is it Flatbush Avenue?
Right.
And I did a show there before I went to the Copacabana. I had some very
Clay Cole?
wonderful experience. Yeah.
Right.
In
He just passed away,
Brooklyn,
right?
yes, he did. Yeah, he did. And I called him. We were friends, and there's some very few wonderful things that have happened, in my life. People that I've known, and some of them have passed on, and it's just. And you get closer. My friends are starting to,
There's something with Palisades Park too. There was the song. Or
That's Cousin Brucey.
All right, but something happened between you and between the other guy you just met, Clay Cole, who had just passed away.
Clay Cole.
He had a TV show, a local TV show.
Yes, he did.
And you went on it, and there was something with Palisades. Talk about
he
that.
did some movies.
Right.
Clay Cole did a few movies,
Right.
and Cousin Brucey was there too. He was, and then Freddie Cannon made a song about Palisades Park.
Okay.
You know,
The song,
it was a big amusement park, and all of a sudden it just one of those things. It just
Just like the Asbury Park, but now it's building up
But great
again.
thing, we're still here,
Yeah.
and we're making great music,
Yeah.
and we're traveling, and
you look terrific.
Yeah, thank you.
Doesn't he look terrific? Everybody give him a hand. He took care of himself, and he's lasted for. And actually, Chubby, we seen you. You were on the Emmys last year. You performed. That was outrageous with
That was fun.
Ryan Seacrest. Yeah.
They gave me, they says, we're only going to give you a minute.
Right.
I says, a minute? I says, a minute is a lifetime. What is that? I said, I can do a lot with a minute.
Right.
So when we put it together, I was thinking all day, what am I going to do with my 1 minute? Because Tony Orlando had a minute, Marie Osmond had a minute,
Right.
the Spinners had a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, no one had over a minute. So what can I do with my minute? I kept looking at Susan Lucci. I kept looking at her. I kept looking at her. And she's a very nice lady. She really is. No wonder she's the king of the soaps, queen of the soaps, because she's a nice person.
Right.
And I talked to her a little bit, and she had no idea, but I said to her, would you be prepared for anything tonight? She says, okay. I said, be prepared for anything tonight. She says, okay. Just very nice. She said, okay. So I went on stage, and I didn't know that all the television people, I went on and I just did this little thing that I do when I come, and they all rose to their feet, and I went, oh no, I have all these actors and actresses on their feet, and just about 40 seconds into the twist, I went over and I got Susan Lucci, and we danced together. When it was over, I picked her up and ended the song with her.
But the whole place exploded.
That was an
great.
experience for me.
I seen the performance.
What are you going to do with your minute?
Yeah.
Because you've got to take, you got to be able to take life and make the most out of what you have, because sometimes you don't get what you want, but what you do, you use what you have and make the most out of it. And sometimes it works out just perfect. And I've been in situations where everything is just sort of always kind of worked in my favor. So it's been good. It's been good, and it's still good. And I always say that. I always thank God for everything, because, what you can't see, He's always there.
We don't get rid of God. We actually get rid of God. He never gets rid of us.
No, He
He's
doesn't.
always there for us.
But remember something.
Push Him away.
He always, well, that's because He wants us to behave, and we don't want to behave. Because it's no fun behaving.
Right.
That's it. So, and that's the way it is. But the thing, He's always watching, always looking after you, and He wants you to listen to Him. So that's hard.
Okay.
So.
Well, I want you to hold on to the thought, because I want you to stay here, because we're gonna introduce some of the other guests on the show. And tonight, I want to introduce Shannon. And Shannon, welcome to New York Rocks. Thank you for coming and being patient and with me. I know you came here. You brought your paintings. let's talk about yourself now. Tell everybody where you're from, and you're in New York now, and you're an artist, and you started painting at what age? Tell everybody. Go ahead.
I started painting probably around, I think I was probably 6 when I started painting. And at that time, I was doing a lot of John Kennedy, President John Kennedy at the time, the Beatles, of course. It's the things that were of that time.
Right.
And which I guess I'm really showing my age at that point.
But who would inspired you to get into painting? Was it art in your family, or was
No,
it?
no, there was no inspiration really. It was just something that I guess art is easy to get into because there's always a piece of paper and a pencil laying around.
Right.
So I would doodle around with stuff, and I guess because my parents saw me doing this stuff and it looked pretty good, that you get your John Nagy kit, and then you get your watercolor kit, and then they buy you some oils, and that's basically how it evolved for me.
But let's say the music part. You're a big music buff with the Beatles, of course.
Right.
But you got interested in painting with music and faces, which is incredibly hard to do, faces, and when you're painting, and especially noses and the outlines of the faces. How'd that come about? How'd you do that? How do you get so good at that? I mean,
just like anything else, anybody that's really good at something, first of all, it's a gift. You know what I mean? And you work at it. You just work and work hard. I really like people that really mean something to the world. I did a lot of also paintings of at the time Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. I'm a big fan of his. It's because I love people that are groundbreakers, people that have done something to create a path for others to follow. And
of course Muhammad Ali has, he went through so much turmoil in his life, and we find out, like him and John Lennon, they were right the whole time.
Right.
And everybody fought against what they believed in, and then found out later in life what they believed in was true, and they weren't crazy. You know what I mean? Everybody thought they were crazy. They thought John Lennon was crazy, and John Lennon was a genius, and he meant for peace and love. And you know what I mean? And Muhammad Ali, he had to change his name because he was against what was going on in Vietnam. And then we found out later in life, to be that this wasn't the way it's supposed to be, with Vietnam, that it was wrong, you know what I mean?
Sure.
What we were doing. And he knew. But our own government, as smart as we are as a country, didn't know that. And he knew that. And they say you got to stand for something or fall for everything. And he stand for that. And him and John Lennon. So I see where you're coming from,
Right.
So
are you sure?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard to express in ways, because you don't want to say things the wrong way. Because John did make a couple of mistakes and said wrong things.
He was
but we're human.
he was the first one to say. John was the first one to say he was a human being. I mean, he was a rock and roller, right? So, but that's basically that's what I like. I like those kind of people, and I like the faces. So, I did a lot of characters that way. Faces were something I practiced a lot. I love eyes on people. Eyes are like the, they're everything to a person.
The eyes are a window to someone's soul, right?
So, and that's what I did. I really practiced a lot of that stuff, and that's where I got the, the idea of just moving forward with things like what we were talking about, the Beatles, Muhammad Ali.
Right. Okay, now recently you had a gallery showing, but you had a lot of gallery showings. But before this gallery showing that you just had, because I attended the gallery showing with May Pang and Nancy Andrews. It was me, believe me. They made sure I made a spectacle, huh? A little bit? No, not too bad. Not too bad. Just a little bit. Okay, but now you went to England and you got commissioned by the Lord of Liverpool, right?
Lord Mayor of Liverpool.
Lord Mayor. All right, talk about that. Go ahead. What's that about? Go ahead.
That was back in the 1900s.
Right. 1900s.
It was actually around 98.
Right.
I got a call. I lived in California at the time. Yes, I left my New York town to go to LA for a while. Got wise, came back. But in the meantime, I was there. Got a call from somebody in Liverpool around 5 o'clock in the morning, and they said, we want you to come to Liverpool because you need to meet the Lord Mayor. We've decided that you're the world's greatest Beatle artist. And how soon can you be here? And of course, I thought it was one of my friends.
It wasn't like the grand, exalted, mystic high ruler, you know.
Actually, it was.
Almost.
No, so...
I thought we were going back to the honeymooners again with the Hucklebuck. The Hucklebuck. You know, with the honeymooners, the grand, exalted, mystic ruler.
I love this guy. So anyway, where were we? In Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool.
And they called. They wanted me to come to Liverpool. So I did. After I finally realized that this was a true story, this was really happening. And I met with the Lord Mayor of Liverpool, and he said, the city of Liverpool has decided you're the world's greatest Beatle artist. And I was just like, really?
Yeah.
How does that happen? You know what I mean? So, but it was nice. It's something.
What do they do? Like crown you? They get the, I crown you. What do they do? Do they actually like have a ceremony? Did they?
No, what they do is they look at you and they go, we've decided you're the world's greatest Beatle artist. And that's it. And we had tea. Yeah, we had tea, some Earl Grey, some crumpets. We did a few lines, some heroin, and it was all good.
But that was in the 90s. But you survived.
Yes,
you survived.
we survived.
Wow.
That's the New York in me. We survived that, right?
Okay, but that's a high honor in the art world, right?
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, in any world. I mean, when you get declared something that's the world's greatest, it's pretty good.
Wow. I'm waiting to get that. I want to get that award.
I'm sure it's going to happen sooner or later. So.
But I'll get crowned.
Probably the Hucklebuck or something like that will come your way.
Yeah. I got to come up with something good. A good gimmick. A good.
Well, you got a good show here.
Right?
I mean, it's right from New York.
Thank you.
I mean, how bad can that be?
New York rocks. We rock the best
New York
over
rocks.
here, you know. All right. So recently, though, you've been busy. You've been doing a lot of gallery showings, and actually, a week or two ago, you had one down at the art gallery down in Gramercy South.
Yes.
Talk about that art gallery that you had there.
It was a really nice show. It was with May Pang,
Right, May Pang.
myself, of course, and Nancy Lee Andrews. And May Pang, of course, was John Lennon's girlfriend for quite a while.
Right.
More than a lost weekend, actually.
Right. Well, Yoko hired her, right?
Yeah, I don't want to get into that.
That's a big, long story.
That's May's story.
Yeah.
She's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And the way I got to know May Pang was May Pang taught me how to play bass guitar.
There you go. So May Pang has
Awesome.
some musical ability, too.
Unbelievable. She taught a lot of people how to play bass guitar.
Okay.
I was one of them.
There you go.
And then you have Nancy Lee Andrews, who dated Ringo for quite a bit.
Okay.
So both of them brought to the table a lot of stuff that had to do with
Now,
Ringo
May
and
brought
John.
a lot of photographs, and Nancy brought photographs of Ringo and George Harrison.
Right.
But you had your art. So you brought all your artwork, and they brought photographs, and you had the gallery.
Right. And it was called the All You Need Is Love show. And don't forget, we had Marina Deco, who was the curator.
Curator.
Right.
Curator. I got to learn.
Say that with me now. Curator.
Yeah, curator.
Okay. So.
I'm bad with names, but But so's Regis. I see him mess up all the time.
Right. Well, I was on Regis last week.
Oh, yeah?
He was messing up. Yeah.
Kelly yells at him all the time.
Right.
While she rolls her eyes. Okay, so
Just like I'm doing.
there you go, right here.
So yeah, it was a great show, and hopefully
Right.
we'll travel around and do some more stuff.
Really fun things. Well, let's get to Dennis now because Dennis, how you doing? Welcome back.
I'm doing
A
fine.
lovely man. I know Dennis for like about 3 years now. Actually, I got introduced to Dennis from Larry Russell from Beatles stock, and then I had met Sid Bernstein through Larry, and I met you at BB King's, and then
Was I sober?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
just checking that.
And you're such a cool guy, down to earth, and lovely person, man, and it's great.
Don't spoil my rap.
Talk about yourself now. I know you had me on your show and you talked about your whole musical career, and we talked a little about the engineering that you did with various different artists. But we didn't get to mention that you worked with John Lennon, and I'd like to have everybody know, how that came to be, and how'd you meet John Lennon, and how'd that happen? Tell everybody.
Well, I had just started at the record plant. I was there probably about 3 months, 4 months. And John came into the city, came into the studio. He wanted to work with my boss, which was Roy Sakala.
Right.
And they came there one night, and I knew he was coming. I saw his, I knew he was going to be there. And when he came in, it was him and Yoko and May. It was like an entourage and everything. And now they're in the studio. John's in the control room. Yoko is in the studio part in a drum booth, which is an isolation booth. And they were just talking, listening to stuff on Imagine. John wasn't happy the way Imagine was coming out in England when it was finished. Thought it was a little too schmaltzy, so to speak. So he wanted to redo it again, and we did it again. So while they were there, I was outside, and I saw that every time Yoko put her head down, the headphones kept falling off of her head.
Yeah.
And being, new there, I said, this is... I ran in there and I said, "Hi, I'm here to help you." And the group the night before was one of the guys, the bass player, has a big head.
Yeah.
And they,
We had big hair.
They was stretched at that point.
Wow.
So I went in there and cleaned them up and bent them, and I gave them to her. And on the way out, I kept saying to her, "Don't, if you need anything, I'm here for you." And I was being like overly trying to help.
Yeah, right.
So on the way out, I said, "If you need me, just ask for Dennis."
Right.
And she looks at me and goes, "F you."
Yeah.
And I said, "No, F you," being Italian.
Yeah.
So when that happened, as I did that, I couldn't take my finger back. I had to go real slow.
Yeah.
And I looked into the control room, and every eye in the control room was staring at me. And I said, "Oh, God, I hope he didn't have the mics on."
Yeah.
So when I walked in the control room, my boss says to me, "Did you tell Mrs. Lennon to F off?"
Right.
And I said, "Wow, I guess the mics were on." At this point, John's getting up,
Yeah.
and he starts to walk around the console, coming towards me.
Wow.
Now I got two choices. Do I throw the first punch and knock him down, or do I let him hit me? And I figured it'd be so cool for one of the Beatles to just beat my ass into the ground,
Man.
So he comes over to me and puts his arm around me, and he says, "What's your name?" And I said, "Dennis." And he said, "Dennis what?" I said, "Ferrante." He said, "Roy?" And he said, "I want Dennis." And I'm expecting to him to say he's fired.
Yeah.
And he said, "Dennis, right?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I want Dennis on every one of my albums from now on. Anybody who tells my wife to F off is a buddy of mine." And then
There's something about you.
right, and then after that, I just started working together, and it became a great relationship between.
That was
our
around what year? Like 72, 71?
70, the end of 71, beginning of 72.
And what album was he working
That was
with?
Imagine at the time.
Okay.
We were just doing. We did Imagine, and then after that, I did I did Mind Games, Walls and Bridges, sometime in New York
How
City.
many songs did you engineer on each album? On
It all of them. I mean, when I say engineer, I did a lot of the overdubs.
Right.
We may have cut the tracks and then did all the overdubs later on, and then we went. And when it came to mixing, we mixed. If you look on Walls and Bridges, you'll see my name is Papa Dennis.
Yeah. Oh,
Because the night I was mixing one of the records.
I can't find? I looked on the internet trying to find some pictures with you.
For some
It's
reason,
like, I cannot find no pictures with you, and I'm like.
For some reason, they don't. They won't put it on. I even called a lot of those websites and said, "How come you don't have any of the Lennon stuff that I did?" And they just won't put my name on it.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. I maybe YO has a lot to do with it. I don't know. I don't know. But I know I was there. And the best time I had with John was like when we were waiting late at night for the car.
Right.
And he would bring his acoustic into the control room, and we'd sit down, and he'd put his legs up on the control room, and he'd just start playing. And whatever song he played, short of something I never heard, I always sang harmony with him.
Right.
And he just said, "Wow," he said, "I can't believe that you pick up the harmony that fast." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You almost sound as good as another guy I know." I said, "Well, if you need an extra singer, I could always jump in, And that was how I met John, and I had a great relationship for like almost 4.5 years, 5 years.
Now you got a relationship with May Pang, and you still do today.
From that day, from that
day,
first day,
from that
because
first
she
day.
came in, and after that, Yoko didn't want me to be on the sessions.
Oh,
And she would go to May, and she goes, "I don't want Dennis on the sessions." And she'd say, "Why?" And
Now
she
the
said,
resentment? since that time? Resentment from that time?
Well, not resentment from that time. She just because I believe in as an engineer and as a producer, if you run a really tense session, you get nothing done.
Right.
If you run a session where everybody's having a good time,
Right.
people are laughing, the artist goes out and feels like, wow, this is a party. This is
Right,
not.
right.
This is not something
feel like,
you know,
yeah.
like I'm doing something I have to do. And she hated that I made everybody laugh.
Yeah, right.
And May said, well, John wants them.
Right.
And that was the only thing that kept me working.
So there
with him.
was like a little possession thing, like, maybe.
No, not so
like
much
that.
possession as I think it was control. She wanted control on everything. When you walked in there, everybody was like, when she was around, John was a different man.
Right.
He was like very businesslike and everything.
Right.
When she wasn't around, he was like one of the guys.
Yeah, and you can relax a little bit.
Yeah,
He
and
doesn't
that's
have
the
to-
way it was, you know.
Yeah. Then the time that happened after, finding out what happened with John, talk about that night that happened. You know what I mean? I know it's hard for you.
At
But-
that in December that year, 1980,
Right.
I was doing the last big album of the Four Tops,
Right.
which was When She Was My Girl. Later on, it became I Believe in You and Me,
Right.
which they wouldn't release when I told them to release it. Was back then.
Yeah.
They waited 15 years,
Right.
and then it was released after Whitney Houston had done it in The Preacher's Wife. Then they released the original
Right.
version, and now it's like, everybody plays it. Everybody's got it. And I was going home I guess it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I saw Jack Douglas, who was we were in a band together.
And Jack was working.
Jack was
John.
co-producing it with John.
Right.
He was producing Double Fantasy. They were doing a new mix.
Right.
He was at the record plant.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
up the corner at RCA.
Wow.
I saw Jack. Jack says, John has been asking for you, why don't you come up? And I said,
Yeah.
Jack, I'm tired. I mean, I've been here since 10 o'clock in the morning. You guys
Right.
came in at 7.
Wow.
I'm here at 10 o'clock in the morning doing a session all around the clock. So I said, I'll see you Monday.
Yeah.
So now I'm finishing up, and I figured every night for 3 weeks prior, we had broke away from the session around 7:30. So I knew that I had 7:30 was my window. I said, I'll come down at 7:30 and I'll come and see you guys, and
Right.
maybe we'll go out for dinner or something. So that night came, and Levi Stubbs, the lead singer, came up to me, Dennis, do you mind if we work through dinner tonight? And I said, well, I have plans. He said, well, we're going to England. We're going to London on Thursday. We want to finish all the backgrounds between tonight and tomorrow night so we can have a day off. And then we're going to be ready to sing on Thursday. I said, yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
And at that time, I would always say, well, if I don't see him now, I'll see him next week. I'll see him the week after. I'll see him soon.
Eventually.
Well, now we're cleaning up. It's 11 o'clock. I'm straightening up. I said, I got to go. And my producer comes out and says, he's white as a sheet. I said, what happened? He said, my wife just called me and told me that John's been shot. And I said, what a horrible thing to say.
Right.
I said, I'm going.
Yeah.
He said, no, I'm serious.
It's so
I said,
surreal,
yeah.
you know what I
I said,
mean? How would you-
nobody
why would they wanna
would ever
shoot
think
John
that
Lennon?
would happen.
Right.
And as a side note, I remember May telling me that he told her one time that if he ever died,
Right.
he said he didn't want to die from a gunshot.
Yeah.
And that's very prophetic because that's the way he did die.
Right. They had a thing with a window and a broken glass, and
Yeah.
Yoko had that.
And that. So then I went. The producer went inside and came out about 10 minutes later.
Right.
And he said, sit down. I said, why? He said, sit down. And then he told me John's dead. And I said, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I said, it's a horrible thought.
Yeah.
He said, I'm serious.
Yeah.
So I went inside and I called May. And I got on the phone and she was
Yeah.
hysterical. She was
Yeah.
screaming and crying.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
I was in shock that I turned around and walked out of the studio, left
Right.
everything on, the tapes on the machine. I just walked out.
And so many people felt that didn't know John as personal as you guys worked with him, but the fans out there felt the same way. Like even I felt the same way. I was in the city, right now, 2 blocks away. You know what I mean? I heard
He never.
the
You gotta
sirens
understand. John never
Right.
preached violence.
Yeah.
He always said, peace
and love.
do peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
Right.
Do everything in peace and a peaceable way of doing it.
Right.
Never talk for violence.
Right.
And the government was scared to death of him. Because if he would have came out and said, Richard Nixon was running
Right.
for president at that time, the second time. If he would have said, Nixon is, Richard Nixon is not a good man.
Right.
He's, there's something, you should get somebody. He would have never won the election. That's
Right,
why
right.
they were shadowing him
Yeah.
with black cars and
Right,
everything.
right.
And then after the election, after Nixon won the election, they stopped.
Right.
It all went away.
It's
So
a shame
it was a
did that.
shame.
Very thing, because him and Yoko, they did stand for so much, together. She was like his rock too, by having her.
Well,
He was in love with her,
we everybody has their theories about why.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Cynthia very well.
Right.
Cynthia's a lovely woman. She
Yeah.
really is.
Right.
And knowing her and then knowing Yoko, it's like, two ends of an extreme,
Yeah. Right.
and I just, I don't know. I just, I couldn't understand it.
And it's a shame because, John Lennon was going through a period where he was like, he had the child, Sean, and he was being more of a father, and there was a change going on after all the whole war and protesting. It was kind of ending, you know what I mean, around that time. Now we're in the 80s, and there was a whole new generation of John that was ready for the whole world.
John, the reason John became a house husband, so to speak, was because he didn't raise Julian.
Right.
He was away. The Beatles were,
Right.
incredible at that point. He was never home.
Yeah.
So he really never had a relationship with his son. When he was going with May,
Right.
she got him to meet Julian.
Right.
And she invited Julian over.
Right.
They were living in Los Angeles at the time. They went to Disneyland, and I mean, it was a whole. I mean, if you look in the book, in her
Right.
book, the
Right.
photo book,
Right.
you could see the pictures. How happy John is.
Right. Finally.
Matter of
yeah.
fact, it's a side note. A week, the day he was murdered, a week later, had he lived, he was having a party
Wow.
back in Liverpool
Wow.
with his family,
Wow.
which he hadn't seen in years. He has stepsisters,
Wow.
and it was like
That's amazing.
that would have been great, and
Right.
unfortunately, he was taken too soon.
Yeah.
The most
That's very hard. Go
hurtful
ahead.
part for me is that after all that happened, everyone was in such a shock, and this song comes out called "Woman,"
Yeah.
and I just cried my head off.
Yeah.
I mean, that song hurt me. That song was
Right.
painful for me.
To
When I
listen to
heard
it.
him sing that song, when I hear it, it just kills me. It just tears me. When I hear
Right.
that song, I hear everything that bothered him
Right.
in his life. And when I heard that song, I just, when that part, just was so painful for me. When I hear it today, I do that. It's very, very hard time for the people in America and for the Beatles fans and people that loved them. And
Right.
it was just it was terrible. It
Your
was terrible.
your thoughts, go ahead, on what happened. Like, how'd you feel when that happened?
Oh, I mean,
mean-
being a Beatle fan and John being my, my favorite Beatle,
Right.
it was heartsick for days, weeks. I think the biggest thing was that I shared with most people is just it was hard to fathom the whole thing really happened. I mean, I remember the next day getting up and even the DJs on the radio didn't know how to act. And it was you turned the
sometimes
radio
you
on.
don't know what to
and
say.
it was all Beatles, it was all Lennon music, and of course it was near Christmas time,
Right.
so the song, his Christmas song was playing a lot. Imagine was being played
Yeah.
over and over.
Wow.
Double Fantasy was, climbing the charts, and now that was it was just, you were annihilated with John all of a sudden, and he wasn't there, which was very, and the thing that always struck me was that was it. There would never be another song that you would ever hear again by this man. That was the end of it, So it was hard. I mean, I share that with. I mean, you have people like Dennis that knew him.
Right.
I only knew him
Yeah.
from my love of the Beatles.
Right.
So it was a tough thing, very tough.
Okay. Now, let's talk a little about the paintings. We're going to touch on the paintings, and then we're gonna go to the band. I'm gonna introduce the band, and we're gonna play. And the band's gonna rock out for us. But talk a little about the paintings that you have right here. Go ahead.
You can start with the first one. That's actually the press conference with John and Paul in New York. I figured that would be a good thing to bring
Right.
with me for the
Good.
New York thing. Is that okay with you?
It's perfect. Anything you bring is perfect. Because
And,
it's like
all your art is so beautiful. You're such a
thank
great
you.
artist.
Thank you.
Every piece that you have is a masterpiece to me. I mean,
Thanks.
I Lord knight you. Well, what do they call they can't knight you. They have to queen you.
I don't know
You're
what
queen.
I don't know what they do, Phil.
But I'll give you beef jerky. So how about that?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Or a checker bar.
Thank you. You're the best.
Yeah.
Shall we go back to the painting?
Good.
Okay. Okay. So the painting is. Yeah, if you want to move to the second one.
Okay.
But if we can go back to the first one, actually.
Okay.
That is the press conference with Paul and John when they announced Apple, which was their new company.
Right.
And I think there's Channel 7 on there or something. It was a big conference. It was great. But as you can see, I try to get as much detail as I possibly
That's what
can.
Let It Be, period, let's say, around there?
No, it was earlier. It was probably around the Hey Jude Revolution White Album, you know what I mean? And the other one, the same thing. Actually, the second painting is a part in the Hey Jude film where John and Paul are just glancing at each other. So it's they're actually looking at each other in different poses. But that was I forget what show that was. Do you remember what that was, Dennis, with Hey Jude and Revolution?
No, I don't. I'm trying to think of what show it was.
It's after Abbey Road.
No, it's before Abbey Road. Way before.
Before Abbey Road.
But anyway, that's what they are. And again, I try to get as much detail as I possibly can, and that's really the magic for me, is making sure that they look exactly like, you see a lot of Beatle paintings out there, and they kind of look similar to them, But I try to get them like spot on.
How long does it take to do these paintings now? You work on them?
They usually take something like these two, a couple weeks, but a lot of hours. Like once I'm on a painting, I don't like to stop, like maybe 18 to 20-hour days.
It's really great work.
Thank you, Chubby.
It's
I
really
appreciate
fabulous.
that. And this is an
I mean,
awesome
really
beef jerky and a checker bar
No,
there.
really, really fabulous.
Thank you.
The faces.
Coming from you,
That's
that
just
means
amazing.
Like photographs.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
No, it's just amazing. You do such great work. Wow,
Thanks.
that's amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
Now, you had, I met you down at Strawberry Fields just recently for, it would have been John's 70th birthday, and you had a gallery showing, but you were starting a painting of Lennon at 70. He would have been 70 years old. Now, you started the painting, but you couldn't finish it in one day, of course.
No,
but
got
you
a lot
did
done.
a lot done. Yeah. Now, what's going on with that? Do you have anything for the future for that?
You mean, am I going to
You're going to
bring it out
again,
so
bring
people
it out.
can see? Probably when I'm 70, I'll have it done. No,
But it was wonderful.
it's actually done,
Yeah.
and I think what we'll probably do is release it at the next show that I do.
Okay.
So it's a tough situation because doing John
don't
at
wanna
70
rush.
years old is, there are some people that want to see it because they're curious, but I got to tell you, there's a lot of people that I don't think want to see him.
Right.
They want to remember him as he was. So it's kind of a bittersweet thing.
Okay.
But
All right.
I will have it out there.
I respect your honesty.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I respect yours.
Thank you. All right, so at this point of the show, we had such great discussion, and it's a pleasure talking with all yous, and we're going to get back to you, but I want to get to the I want to get to the band right now, and they came all the way from Plainfield, New Jersey. It's the Garth Francis Band. They want to rock on New York Rocks, and New York Rocks wouldn't be so great if we didn't have music. So we're gonna have him come and perform right now. So let's hear from the Garth Francis Band, rocking on New York Rocks. Who rocks better than us? Nobody rocks like New York Rocks. We rock the best. Let's hear it, the Garth Francis Band.
Look out, world, here she comes again. Butterflies and rainbows are the trend. She walks through clouds of pink, majestic sky. No one can change her world. She's still the sun. fun. All these years and still the beat goes on. No one can change her world. She's still the sunshine girl. Shine on, shine on, shine on, shine on. No one can change her world. She's still the sunshine girl. Shine on, shine on, shine on. Baby boomers, sit back and take view. Graffiti masters, Peter Max tattoos. She's still grooving with the fashion crowd. A natural beauty signing peace out loud. No one can change her world. She's still the sunshine girl. Shine on, shine on, shine on, shine on. Shine on, shine on, shine on, shine on.
Thank you. Phil, my man, Phil. Nobody, New York rocks, right?
Man, I want to thank you for coming down here tonight and on short notice, of course.
Anything.
But I'm telling you, but when you want the best, you got the best. And, you know, I know you guys are really great at what you do. And I want to thank you for doing that for me. You know what I mean?
Anything for you, Phil.
You're the best. I said, I love that guy. That guy, Golf Francis, we got to get him back. You know, you're always welcome to come on the show at any time.
And with Chubby.
Yeah.
With Chubby.
You having a good time?
How great is
Having
that?
a good time?
How great-
Yeah.
Doesn't get
well,
better than that.
He's the best.
And the
there is.
Beatles.
And the Beatles, best artist, and the best engineer in the
The best
world.
engineer, too. I
That's
haven't
it.
met yet.
Yeah. Well, you meet him. Actually, Dennis did a lot of work with different artists, mainly not just John Lennon, also Elvis. And,
Maybe he'll do Gar Francis.
you never know. You never know. Okay, now I want to thank Mo Pro, you know, Moni. She came down here, brought me down here. The Bongo Boy Records, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's talk about what's going on with the band. Go ahead.
Well, we're in the process of doing, you know that I'm in Plainfield Slim also.
Right.
We're doing a new album for Plainfield Slim and the Groundhogs. We just released a new single from Genya Ravon, who was in 10 Wheel Drive back in his late 70s. I wrote and produced that song for her. It's an old kind of Janis Joplin, the R&B kind of thing. Doughboys are doing a new live DVD, new live album, and we're going in to record our third album actually.
So you got 3 bands going on. You got the Plainfield Slim, the Golf Francis Band, and also the Doughboys. That's amazing.
Like to stay busy.
Yeah, well, you are a busy person. I love your songwriting and your guitar playing. And the band that you have here, of course, we have Rocco Scavone on the drums. There you go. We'll give a hand for Rocco. And we have Mike Caruso. So now, what's going on with this trio right here? Now you have a couple of albums that you're making with them.
We're going to do
Well,
probably
they
another
start-
single.
yeah.
We're into this whole garage rock thing, which the Doughboys are started. And so we'll probably do a single.
Okay. Now the song you just played, is that off?
That
new
will be
material?
the single. That will be the new single.
All right. So what songs do you have for us now? We want to hear a couple of songs. And
I'm going to do a
Okay.
song just for you
all right.
called Keep Your Dog Off Me.
Ah, that's a good song. Actually, I heard that song. I enjoyed that song. It's a really good song. But what is that about? Go ahead. Go ahead. It has a meaning. You know, songs all have meaning.
It does have a meaning. It's about people who just bug you. That's what it's about.
I know. Well, I got a lot of people bugging me now.
Old wives, old girlfriends.
Yeah. Sometimes bugging is good. It depends on who's bugging you, right?
That's right.
You don't want those bed bugs bugging you. All right. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on and rocking out with us.
Thank you for
We're
having us.
hearing with the Golf Francis Band rocking on New York Rock. So let's hear for the Golf Francis Band rocking on New York Rocks right now, right here. Let's do it, baby.
Thanks again, Phil.
Baby, keep your dog off me. Don't bring him round, spreading all his wings. See him round neighborhood, picking through trash, up to no good. Baby, keep your dog off me. Hang out with that mean Jimmer. Don't care what you do. Keep your dog off me. Baby, keep your dog locked tight. It's big and it's mean and it don't smell right. Ever since he caught me
dog off me. Hey, you. What are we gonna do? One more? We're gonna do one more. This song's called I'm Still Alive. It's about anybody over 50 who thinks our time has come and we're done rocking. We're still rocking. Right, Chubby? Let's take a magic ride to a land from long ago when hippies ruled the land with tie-dye and they glow. I'm still alive. Can't you still feel me? I'm the same inside. I'm still alive. I remember different times when you could stop a war. We were young, but we were right. No one gives a damn no more. I'm still alive. Can't you still feel me? I'm the same inside. I'm still alive. These loving flower power may have been our finest hour. I'm still alive. Can't you still feel me? I'm the same inside. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Can't you still feel me? I'm the same inside. I'm still alive. Let's take a magic ride. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'd like to thank Phil, New York Rocks. Don't forget, we have CDs for sale. We got the new Chubby Checker. iTunes, Amazon.com, CD Baby. And again, you're Yvonne from 10 Wheel Drive, also known as Goldie. You could hear on Sirius Radio. That's also iTunes, Amazon, CD Baby. And Chubby Checker's chocolate bars. And that's Checkers beef jerky. A little shout out to the Aquarian. Who else we got? Oh, Big Al's Pizza. The reason I'm a little sluggish, a little too much cheese in my stomach. It's hard to sing with all that cheese. Yeah, the Aquarian Big Owls, Chubby Checker. And I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Who? Shannon from the Beatles. And Chubby's holding it all up. He's got it all. Chubby, I wrote this song in a tribute to you, actually. Hope you don't mind I ripped off your groove. Well,
Rocking on New York Rocks. Well, we had a fantastic show with great guests here tonight, and we're going to go through everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming down. I want to thank all my friends out there. I want to thank my crew. I want to thank Kevin and the crew here at CTV and all the wonderful people, my friend Dominic who came down, and George, and Monique, thank you for coming down and bringing the band. I want to thank Terry Converse for directing the show. Did a wonderful job. Let's give a hand for all those people that did such a great job. Thank my friend Frank James, and Joanne came down here with her friend. Hi.
Peter from Connecticut.
And also we have in the back. All right, and let's get back. Let's do our closeout. So Chubby,
Thank
let's
you.
talk. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
By the
It's
way,
very nice being here. I shan't forget you. You're marvelous.
You're gonna come back and sing one day.
Well, maybe I'll come back and see.
Please.
It's not working tonight, you know. So sometimes it's not working.
Yeah.
I'm so relaxed here, hanging out with you guys. It's the last thing on my mind.
I love you, man.
And I'm enjoying these guys so much.
I love you.
By the way, would you like to work a little record session with me?
I sure would.
You would?
I'm there.
I gotta come. Can I come? Can I come?
Yeah, would you be interested? Because I'm working on a song right now, and I'm hearing some things. I'd like for you guys just to, come to the session.
We're there.
I'll pay you.
Actually, I talked to your son a while ago, too, about doing something with us and the rap stuff.
Wonderful. Very good. Very good.
Okay, so Chubby, we got the candy bar.
Oh,
I ate a
I
whole
can
one. I
smell
got a
it.
lot of
Oh,
energy now.
can't
I got all the energy in the world. I want to sing for you.
She,
Oh, you don't want to do that.
you know,
You don't want to do that.
girl's a dangerous painter. She's wonderful.
But now I love you.
I love you too.
I fell in love with you now.
love you
I
too.
love you. You're such a great
And
person.
it's just like family, right?
Yeah.
You just melt like that's what I'm like. I'm just like I come to your house, you cook me, I just blend right in.
My mother cooked some nice pasta.
Yes,
I
I blend right
like the
in.
Italian food, you know.
Because I'm a Calabrese.
I'm a Calabrese too. I'm a half and half. Half Sicilian, half Calabrese.
I'm all Calabrese.
We're somewhat thick-headed though.
And then I'm also a
Thick-headed.
lunchman too. Don't forget I'm a lunchman as well. Yeah, okay.
You got that girl. You gotta watch out. Well, you know what? If they want to find out more about you, they can find out at chubbychecker.com,
Yes.
and they can find out all the great things that you're doing now. And what new projects you're going to be working on? Tell everybody.
I'm working on something tonight. I'm working on something because I saw the band tonight.
Right.
We're going to get together next month, and I have this tune that I'm working on. And when I heard you guys play, you've got to play this tune, and I have the arrangement all done. It'll take about 6 hours, and it'll be done.
There you go.
It's going to happen in New York City
It's an honor and a pleasure.
on 110th Street
look at
and
that.
Columbus Boulevard. I'm going to be calling you. Whatever happens, there's this song that's going to happen right here on your
And
show.
you heard it right here on New York Rocks. How about that? That's cool. That's really cool. I'm honored. I'm honored to have you here. Now, Dennis, tell everybody what's going on with you. Now, Dad, what's going on?
Well, I'm producing a group, co-producing a group called C4 Experience. We just finished.
Right.
And now I'm beginning, I'm doing Shannon's record.
Sure.
We are now, collaborating on her record, and that should be out in what, summertime, beginning of the summertime. And you have the the title? Do you want to tell him?
Where's the shirt, Phil?
The shirt I have over my bag right here. I don't know if I can reach
He
it.
has it over his bag. Yeah, what does that mean? I'm not sure.
Oh, wait. No, my arms don't stretch that long. But
Tell him the title.
The title is
God,
Red
Phil.
Pyramids in Blue Sky.
now, how'd you come up with that?
Remember when I was telling you the Lord Mayor and I were doing drugs in Liverpool?
Right.
That's how I came out with the title.
But those are days gone past.
She's not doing it anymore.
She's a good girl.
Yeah, I'm being good
She's
now.
a good
Right.
girl. Actually, you got a woman that you just kind of like became your friend,
Yeah, I've got a lot of women that have become my friend
right.
in the past
a
year.
special one though. Special
Yes,
one. Nice
yes, I
lady.
do. Yes.
Very nice. She's
Jennifer's very nice, and
Very nice person.
yes, and Phil's just outed me on TV here,
Right,
so thank you, Phil.
But she's a wonderful person, and
She
so are
is.
you. You know what I mean?
Right.
We
thank you.
we gotta learn to love one another in this world. You know what I mean? There's a
Right.
lot of hate, and hate is ugly. You know what I
Right.
mean? And we gotta learn to be good to each other and love one another.
Right.
What do you think?
Let's wave that rainbow flag.
Yeah. I'm serious. You know what I
Excuse
mean?
me, back up a little
Yeah.
bit. Oh, back on the waist.
Oh, it's not going to waste.
She's using it. Don't worry about that.
Wow, this is a whole new
Might as well look
TV
it up.
show.
Might as well look it up.
We're breaking new ground here, Phil.
But I must say
This
that
could be a little reality.
that man you were with the other
Right,
night
right.
was a hot-looking dude.
Don't get no funny ideas.
I'm going.
You're never going to see any of that. Sorry.
Okay, now, Dennis, there's a way of finding out more about you. Tell everybody how they can contact you, and so we can wrap this
Well,
up.
Shannon and I are going to work on a website, because there's a million different websites out there that I have nothing to do with it. So, but if you go on Facebook and you put my name in,
Dennis
you can become my
Ferrante.
friend, and you can know exactly what I find that I'm doing. I don't know. Half the time I have to look on Facebook to see where I've been.
Right.
And other than that, they can contact me through Shannon, or they can contact me
For me.
through Phil,
Yeah, I know.
Or Shannon's
Dennis is
girlfriend.
or whatever.
Okay, Shannon, now yourself. How can they find out more what's going on with you? I know you have a couple websites out there. Would you like to tell everybody?
Yes, my website is www.theshannongallery.com.
Okay. And Chubby, any final statements on tonight?
Everything's wonderful. Checker bars and beef jerky and
The album.
the album. And don't forget about the guys.
Right.
Forget about it. And Big Al's, thank you for
Big Al.
allowing us to have this and the aquarium. We thank you, gentlemen,
You're
for
very nice.
making all this possible for us because we're forever thankful.
Thank you.
We thank you. My wife thanks you. My kids thank you. The Internal Revenue Service is grateful. Thank you.
And with that, thank you very much for watching New York Rocks. Until next time, you guys rock the best, man.
Rock the best.
Hey baby, what's going on? Everybody's going out tonight. Come on, let the radio blow. Give me some rock and roll. Ignite my go-to. Lee broke up with Mary Lou. Got Frankie on the telephone. He promises he takes me home. If there's a party going on, I wanna tag along. I've been cooped up all week long. There's time to sing this song. If there's a party going on, I wanna tag along. Been cooped up all